Some of the more interesting characters in the Gaslight District for me were the virtues. These guys act as the second in command to the head angel in the hierarchy of heaven, and do most of the important jobs there as well. So far, we know of 2 virtues, but stay to the end because I'll try to predict what the other 5 do as well. Like and subscribe if you enjoy, and let's get straight into it. First, what do all of these guys have in common, out of the 2 we've seen, of course? Well, the virtues are these robot-looking guys. They're like the undead in the sense that they can revive themselves, as we see them both do, actually. But unlike the undead, they don't have physical bodies. Instead, they have these robot suits that are powered by their brains, which are located in a glass case in their head area. Like I said before, they seem to be the highest you can get in heaven, besides the head angel herself. We currently know of 2 virtues, diligence and temperance. First, let's go over temperance. His virtue means self-restraint, whether it be in terms of violence or refraining from excess indulgences. This fits the whole theme of temperance we've gotten so far. Temperance is an interesting case because he is actually the doctor who delivered the human baby. In other words, Mel. He knows Mel is the human and he acts as the sort of doctor or medic within heaven. He is more kind-hearted and calm compared to diligence. The most harmful thing we see him do is throw a crow at Ken. Speaking of Ken, he seemingly has a long history with him. As we know, Ken's the adoptive father of Mel, who is a human born from the egg, and Temperance was the one who delivered her. Judging by the fact that Temperance immediately recognizes Ken, it's clear they were pretty close. As well as this, he seems scared when he sees him, and he says the words, "How did you find me?" This implies that after he delivered Mel, or soon after, he ran away from Ken, breaking his trust. This all comes to a close when Temperance is attacked by Ken, repeatedly getting his head smashed in before his brain is ripped out and devoured. Something many of you may have missed is that Ken's gut glows with the symbol that shines when the undead revive, meaning Temperance's brain is still alive inside of Ken. One thing I didn't mention, however, is this giant egg thing that Temperance is working on. There's something inside that egg with a big red eye. Temperance injected it with some sort of power source, and Ken stared it down after killing Temperance. That's all we know about this dude in the egg, but from its large size and obviously concealed appearance, it's pretty clear this thing is going to play a huge role in the story, and I can't wait to see where that goes. Next, we have diligence, seemingly the head of the virtues. His virtue means being careful and persistent when doing a job, which definitely fits what we've seen of him, and his design is holy moly. He's ruthless in nature, not caring for anyone around him, including his own guards. He straight up kills one when interrupted and then forces the rest of them to make a staircase for him to walk on. His job is less clear than Temperance, but from what I can tell, he is the head of the guards. Basically, he's the first face you see when entering Paradise Lost, and the one to inspect the vehicles and let the rotlings in. So yeah, he's pretty important. He has this angel dude on his shoulder that copies literally his every move, maybe some sort of minion or pet. We don't have as much as a backstory for Diligence as we do for Temperance, since he's not directly linked to a main character, but it is worth saying he's likely one of the stronger virtues, considering he's the one to try and attack Ken when they escape. And to his credit, he actually puts up a decent fight, but Ken eventually pushes him into the swarm of crows, partially destroying his suit. We do see him get revived at the end though, so it's worth noting that he'll be a key villain in the future, especially considering he knows what all 4 members of the Smiling Dead look like. Now for the other 5. How do I know there will be 5 more, you may ask? Well, there are 7 heavenly virtues in Christianity, and 2 of them are diligence and temperance, meaning the other 5 are going to be the other virtues, starting with chasity. Chastity is kind of like temperance in a sense, that is refraining from something. Specifically, chastity is the act of refraining from anything sexual, seeing it as immoral. From this description of the original virtue, I'd wager chastity will be a more kind virtue similar to temperance, and possibly some sort of reformer. In terms of an actual job, chastity doesn't seem like the type that would do anything violent, and Uriel is the angel often linked with chastity, and he's often seen as a messenger. So from that, I'm going to place a bet that Chastity's role in heaven is going to be some sort of messenger. Not a mailman per se, but like a messenger boy, someone who goes down to the Gaslight District to tell the undead new news and rules that heaven has placed upon them. In fact, I think it's quite likely we see him in episode 2 if this is the case, warning the Gaslight District citizens that the human is upon them or something like that. The next one's humility. Humility basically means being humble, or not bragging. From this description, I have a feeling humility won't be mean per se, but I don't think they'll be one of the most amazing virtues either. Something commonly seen in media is the good person that rubs it in your face that they're a good person, and that's kind of what I imagine humility will be like. Yes, this goes against the whole idea of humility, but diligence also doesn't describe a ruthless person willing to use their underlings as stairs, so I think it's fair game. I also think humility will be the strongest of the virtues, so that's another reason I believe they won't be as nice as they seem. Why do I believe this? Well, humility is the opposite of pride, which we all know is the worst of the deadly sins. That makes humility the best of the heavenly virtues. Humility is often linked to Michael the Archangel, who is a warrior, though it's worth noting Raphael is also linked to it. For the sake of this video, I'll go with Michael. From this and the theme of humility being the strongest, I believe diligence will be a warrior, and a strong one at that. The next is charity, and come on, I don't need to explain what charity is, but just in case if you for some reason don't know what it is, it's the act of giving while putting others before yourself. From that, it seems charity would be one of the nicer virtues, maybe even helping the less fortunate undead in a way, or helping Mel when she's in trouble. That would be interesting. There are a few angels that link to charity, but the one I'm going to take inspiration from is Satchel, who is seen as an aide to Michael. I really hope I'm saying that right. Who reestablishes link to humility. This is what I think his role will be, an advisor or an assistant to humility. Next is kindness. Kindness is obviously just generally being nice. I find it really hard to believe that a virtue called kindness would not be kind, though I guess it's completely possible that an ironic sort of character is what kindness would be. Like they're called kindness, but they're not actually kind. Maybe. Who knows? There are a lot of different angels that represent kindness, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to go with Zachiel. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he is mostly known for turning negative energy into positive energy. And since I want to give another common job like temperance was a doctor, the best thing I can think of is like a banker exchanging negative energy for positive energy or something like that. I'll say kindness will be a banker. It's not out of the question since we know some of them have common jobs, again, seen with temperance, and while it's not particularly likely, I still think is a fun idea. Finally, we have the last virtue, which is patience. Patience, again, is pretty obvious, having the self-control to wait. Patience isn't something that stands out to me as like overly nice, so I'm just going to go out on a limb and say they'll be one of the mean virtues. Raphael is commonly associated with patience, though others are as well. Raphael is known as a healer as well as a messenger, but we already kind of have a doctor and messenger boy, so I've got a funny idea. Patience is patient, right? Maybe patient to getting a job too? Is patience an unemployed king? Maybe. Just maybe. He could be a freeloader, and I think that fits with the dystopian theme of the Gaslight District. With that said, Raphael is one of the heads of the angels, so I think patience would also be pretty high up there. One of the strongest in the group, actually. I'm not sure why I came up with this idea, but give me a break, man. It's funny, and I'd love to see the virtue on the unemployed grind set. Well, that's all the virtues. The ones we know, the ones we don't know, explained and theorized about. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, as well as leave a comment on your own ideas for what the other virtues could be like, because I'm not a writer of the show. I don't know what's going to happen with these guys. Maybe you guys have better ideas than me. We'll see. I'll make sure to read them all and heart them if I think they're good. Even if I don't think they're good, I basically just heart every comment at this point. But why not, right? There's no point in not hearting a comment. Make sure to watch my other videos for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.